on today's episode of my shroom series. I want to talk about bad trips. But first, check out my shirt. Isn't it really sweet? Ooh. Mushroom head. I put peas on my head, but don't call me a pea head. I think this one's pretty sweet. Part one of this is going to be my opinions on bad trips in general. And then we're also going to talk about troubleshooting. We're going to talk about tips for bad trips as well. So let's do this. A few things that I want to address. Influence is the first one. Negative preconceived notions is a part of that. When you are doing shrooms, I always advise to be around positive people, to be around people who make you feel good, and to have positive thoughts. I really don't like when people try to coach other people on how to have a trip, or when they give them negative preconceived notions. Like, should you be aware of the negatives? Yes, because they are possibilities. However, those negatives may not be a part of your trip. So I kind of feel like it's bogus to put that off on the other people. I don't think that's really fair to them. Prime example, there have been quite a few people who've had negative experiences on shrooms, and they tell people things to not do based on the experiences that they've had. Like, don't look in the mirror. Don't turn all the lights off. Don't go outside. Don't do this, because those are all bad things that were negative for them. However, a person like me, I will always advise somebody to go outside if they feel like they're having a bad trip, because I am convinced that shrooms and fresh air is a thing, and it helps. It intensifies the quality of the trip by going outside, access to fresh air, being in nature. Like, that has always worked for me and every person who's ever done shrooms with me. So, you know, when it comes to the negative preconceived notions, don't let people give you theirs, right? Listen and understand, like, I get that was a part of your journey. You're giving me a heads up because you want me to be prepared if that exact same thing happens to me. However, I'm not going to speak into existence that your bad experience is going to be my bad experience. So thank you for sharing. I will keep that in mind. But please do not let that completely take over your mind when it comes to your trip, right? I had a friend who had a not so pleasant trip, and I honestly was just kind of convinced that, like, someone gave her negative preconceived notions, and those things became very real, because honestly, even outside of drugs, the body follows what the mind believes. And if you feed your mind bad or negative things, it's kind of going to be your turn of events that bad and negative things just start happening. So that's the first part. I also believe that because of a lack of research, people have bad trips, right? Now, you know how everybody be like, oh yeah, do some orange juice, like with your shrooms, or some pineapple juice or something like that. First of all, if you have not done your research, that is a very bad idea, especially if you're a first timer. This is why. When you consume shrooms, because this is something you're digesting, your body already has stomach acid. Break down the food to get the nutrients out of them, right? When you do shrooms and you follow it up with anything that is acidic, whether it be orange juice, pineapple juice, a grapefruit, a lime, whatever, you're adding more acids to your stomach acids, which means it's going to do what? It's going to break down whatever you put in your stomach a lot faster, because now there are more acids to help with that process. If you have not done your research and you don't know that, those acidic things are going to intensify your trip because they're contributing to the stomach acids, and then it's going to go faster. So now you want like 100,000 million off of these shrooms because you was like, yeah, they said do fucking shrooms and orange juice. That's a great idea. No, my nigga, that's not a good idea if you don't know what the fuck gonna happen. When you are underprepared and underinformed and you ain't did your research, then you run into shit like that. Like, you could have had a decent trip as a first timer just by doing the shrooms on their own and seeing how that go. And then, like, okay, you know, once you get the hang of it, you like, yeah, I'm ready to take it up a notch. Let's try a little bit of orange juice. But no, motherfuckers just jump 2 feet in first with no floaties. Yeah, they just, yeah, that's I think that contributes to having a bad trip. Like, being underinformed, not having done your research. And by this point, I done gave y'all all the power play, so I don't know why we not doing research. Another thing that contributes to having a bad trip is fighting your thoughts. I tell people this all the time. all the time. Do not fight your thoughts. Wherever your thoughts go with them. Feel however you feel. Deal with it. And then once you're done dealing with it, you will feel so much better. Now, as a spoiler, I know in a previous video I told y'all that I was going to talk about sex on shrooms. And I am. And a part of that goes into fighting your thoughts, because I was on shrooms and I was having sex. I was thinking about somebody else while I was having sex. And I was like, nah, we're not doing that. That's a bad idea. And it fucked up my trip. My mind was thinking about somebody else. I really probably shouldn't have did them while I had all of that emotional baggage with me. It kind of fucked up my trip. Like, it fucked up the sex, fucked up the trip. Like, now I'm thinking about this shit that I really didn't want to think about at the wrong time. Like, I'm okay with thinking about it, but right now it's not the time. Just postpone it, please. But again, like I told y'all, shrooms is a drug that's like, hey, you, yeah, right now. I say that to say, like, don't fight your thoughts, right? If you are having a thought, process it, go with it. You know, I think that in the moment of having an overload on your thought process or on your emotions, it's best to kind of like write through it. A lot of people that I know who do shrooms regularly, they will record a video of themselves and just like talk through what they feel. Like, I feel this right now and da-da-da-da and blah, blah. And they might be high out their mind. But when they sober, they gonna go back and look at that video and be like, damn. But 9 times out of 10, they feel a lot better because they finally was able to get that shit off of their chest. They was able to just say it. They was able to accept it. They was able to feel it and get past it. And now that's not something that's hanging over their head no more. If you are going to do shrooms, do not fight your thoughts. Like, literally just go with it. And also, too, the part 2 to that is to try not to panic. If you do feel that you are having a bad trip or that, you know, things are too much for you, I would honestly call a friend. Talk through your experience with your friend or with somebody that you really do trust, because their conversation can just literally be so soothing for you. And although your high still may be going on, that conversation is just, I feel like it's going to be a weight off. Again, I always recommend, if you're having a bad trip, to like go outside, to talk to a friend, record a video, start journaling, just kind of to help you process through those thoughts. Which takes me to my next part. Other additional tips for people who are having a bad trip. If you yourself are having a bad trip, or you are doing shrooms with someone and they begin to have a bad trip, 2 things. One is to sit in the grass, and the other is to take them to the bathroom and have them wash their hands. I'm noticing that with shrooms, it is an increased sense of touch. And so sitting in the grass and running your hands through the grass, it is a sensory thing. Hand washing is also another sensory thing. For me, I've noticed that water and shrooms is a thing. I'm also going to do a video about the time I took a shower on shrooms, but like I told y'all before, washing my hands while on shrooms is an experience, just because it's very relaxing, it's very soothing, it's almost stimulating to a degree. So if I'm having an overload of emotions, or, you know, I just feel like emotional baggage is piling up on me, those things have helped me outside of going for a walk. Sitting in grass, touching the grass, washing my hands, touching leaves is another thing. Like, touching living things while on shrooms I can't really explain it. It's just a comfort, and it works. It works. So I recommend that to everybody. It's a comfort and it works. Try it. If you're having a bad trip, you know somebody's having a bad trip, have them do that, right? Another thing I like to do if somebody having a bad trip is kind of tap into something that they already know. One time I did shrooms, I was beginning to feel anxious. Decided that I was going to play Sequence. Now, Sequence is like Connect 4. It's a board game that's like Connect 5 with cards. It just was the reassurance that I needed. Like, okay, yes, I know I'm high. I know I'm doing a drug, but I'm still me. I'm still going. I still got this. Like, cards is a go-to. It's a safety. I don't care how fucked up I am. I could always play cards. I could always play board games, and I'm gonna be good. So whether, and for me, that just it's like one of those things that kind of just pulls me back. Like, Keela, we still here, you still you, and we just having an additional layer of who we are right now. But you still you, We still got this. Come on. We finna play cards. And so that's always a comfort for me. So going back to do something that's familiar to you, whether that's dancing, whether that's telling a story, whether that's reading a book, like do something that you and in your sober state of mind are confident in doing. That is always a help. If you are with a friend that's experiencing a negative trip or a negative experience, encourage them to talk to you through what they see, what they feel, the emotions that they may be combing through. But when you do that in a private space, so that if you all are around other people, that they don't feel that pressure from people that they may not be comfortable with. I had a friend who was having a bad trip, and her and I, we went in a stairwell where it was really quiet. It was well lit. And we just had a very calm, soothing conversation. And, you know, I was able to just reassure her and just kind of give her a sense of calm that she wasn't feeling, right? Now, she was the type of person, she liked to, you know, isolate when she got her own shit going on, as I do too. But in that moment, I'm like, no, you know, I kind of need to intervene right here because she's not having a good experience and I don't want her to, you know, just explode or, you know, be upset or whatever she's maybe feeling that I don't know about. I don't want that to like overcome her. So in that instance, yeah. Now in the most extreme circumstances, if you're with somebody who's having a bad trip and there seems to be no like calming them down, the tips that I've given aren't helping, advise them to throw up. To some degree, it is very possible that their body could have digested some, if not all, of the amount of shrooms that they've taken. So it would be hard for them to throw it up. But in the event that they have not completely digested it and their body hasn't broken it all down, then them throwing it up would get it off of their stomach. It would cause the high to not last as long. It will cause them to feel a lot better because they're literally getting it out of their system. Throwing up does help, but it is not a guaranteed fix. So if you are a person who is experiencing a bad trip or you're having a bad trip, you can also, if you don't want to throw up, you can also eat more food, because then that will put more things in your system to just absorb, like it'll absorb the substance. Kind of like how when you drink it, if you're too drunk, you're gonna eat that liquor, that bread, them carbs. Is going to absorb the alcohol. It's going to make you less drunk, or it'll at least help level you out some. Yeah, I hope these tips have been helpful to you. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Comments, like, and subscribe, and I will catch y'all on the flip side. Peace out.